Alright, good. Let's get going. Hey folks. Whoops. And here I am. Yeah, so I'm going to do one of these again. Which is something I like to do once in a while, I don't know. So PCem version 17 has come out in December last year, I think. That has brought a whole bunch of really cool stuff. So, and we're going to talk about that. Right now, let me just get into it, because I've already sort of set everything up beforehand, installed a bunch of things, and let's go. I'm just going to start this right now. This should actually work, hopefully. Yes, here we go. Ooh, Energy Star. So, yeah, we're just gonna hang out and play some old games, do some old stuff, I don't know. There's gonna be a big old retro fest today. And, oh yeah, there we go. For some reason, this always slows down. Always the starting jingle kind of hitches. It's not a problem with like playing games or anything. It's just at the start. That is sort of a PCem quirk. So, PCem version 17 has come out. And if you don't know PCem is a IBM PC and compatible emulator. It's not like DOSBox. So DOSBox is just a thing that sort of fakes a DOS environment in order for you to play games. PCem is a hardware emulator, right? So it actually emulates distinct hardware. You need like BIOS files for this. And yeah, so you can, for example, emulate a IBM PC AT with that, right? Or like a 486 computer or a Tandy 1000. I think you can actually do a Tandy 1000. I don't remember, but I think you can. And, you know, this is kind of very much a work in progress thing. And with this version 17, they've kind of expanded a whole bunch in the high end of the emulator. So before, the furthest you could kind of go was sort of a Pentium 233, something like that. Pentium MMX 233. I think this is as high as you could go on the on the on the main boards for like Pentium processors, and you could do like a Voodoo 2. So you would have to emulate like a 2D graphics card, like the S3 Verge, which is what I used to do, and slot a Voodoo 2 together with it, because that's what you had to do. You know, like the Voodoo 2 was just a 3D accelerator, so you would have to have a graphics card and a Voodoo 2, and you would like have a little cable that you connected them with. That actually is kind of not ideal for a lot of things. I found that a lot of games just really don't work all that well. So they've expanded that. We have now, it now supports the BIOS for a slot 1 mainboard for the Gigabyte GA686BX. And slot 1 is the sort of slot socket for the Pentium 2. So we can now actually emulate Pentium 2 processors. And that actually makes this pretty viable for a lot of games sort of from the golden age of PC gaming, of Windows PC gaming, sort of for like 1998 and almost like, and even some 1999 games, which is pretty damn awesome. And I've already installed a bunch of stuff there. Yeah, we're just going to play a bunch of old games and we're just going to hang out for a few hours. Is that a good idea? Sounds like a good idea to me. And also what they did was they now emulate the Voodoo 3 graphics card, which is an all-in-one graphics card. And that has made a lot of things a lot more hassle-free. So, I have already installed my Windows. I have all my drivers. For the Voodoo 3 graphics and everything else. And we can just play some games, for example. And I don't know. yeah, PCem is really cool, and this has now become a lot more viable. So I've been doing a bunch of this stuff. I actually like it really for like old stuff, you know, emulating like a PC-AT or like original IBM PC stuff and stuff like that. It's really fun. And it's something that you just cannot really do in DOSBox. So I like that stuff. I also like just futzing around with real hardware, but that's a whole different can of worms. And it's not easily streamable, so this actually gives a really good opportunity for this stuff. So shall we play some games? I think we should play some games. So let's start with one that did not work before, but that works now. The one sort of downside, or like one caveat about PCem, especially if you do the high-end stuff, as we are doing right now, is that it is pretty hardware intensive. So yeah, it is pretty hardware intensive. So you kind of need a relatively beefy computer, a beefy CPU, a beefy single core speed CPU. There's like single core speed is sort of the most important thing here, because that's what it uses to emulate this stuff. I'm streaming from my graphics card, so this should hopefully all work out. We're going to see about that. Let's start playing a game. So this is a game that just barely worked on the Pentium 1 with Voodoo 2. It just barely worked. It was not good. It might have used, I think I had a problem with that it might have used the S3 Verge, which has some DirectX, Direct 3D capabilities, but it's really bad at it. So with the Voodoo 3, it now works pretty well. So this is Heretic II. It was a game by Raven Software, the follow-up to Heretic, and it essentially is they made kind of a third-person game, and it runs on the Quake II engine. Let's start with something. I have a lot, you know, we can try some weirder stuff later as well, but just to check how this works, we have that on 640 by 480 for now, which is fine. This might be the best idea. Let's just start the game. Raven Software production. And play this for a bit. So, yeah, Heretic II. Like, you don't really need PCem to run this game. Like, this game, you can run this on natively on Windows 10. It actually works. You can actually do that. And you can, like, play it in full widescreen, 1080p, whatever. 1440p resolution, right? So like you don't actually need to do, but I kind of like futzing around with this stuff. And I do have I have Heretic 2 installed on my Windows 10 machine, on my host machine actually. So we could play this in a much with much higher fidelity. But yeah, this kind of works now, as you can see. Like, I don't know, the frame rate is not super high, I would say. Like, this looks like sort of around the 30s, maybe a little less. But, like, back in the day, I would have seen this as playable. I would have played the game like this. And yeah, this is Heretic 2, you know? Like, Heretic 1, Doom engine first-person shooter in a fantasy scenario. And for Heretic 2, they kind of went to a third-person thing. And it's kind of a weird thing, because you can kind of tell that the Quake II engine wasn't really able to, you know, wasn't really made for this, but it works. It works. It doesn't work as well as some other games, some other third-person games. Can we destroy this? Yeah. You know, but it's fine. It's okay. And as you can see, with some Voodoo 3 magic, it actually works pretty well on PCem now. So we can actually, yeah. So Pentium 2 and Pentium 2 and Voodoo 3 is, I have a lot of fondness for that combination. Well, not exactly that combination, but the first computer that I had bought with sort of my own money was a Pentium. I think it was like a low-end Pentium 3. like with 500 megahertz or something like that, and a Voodoo 3 2000. So this is a little lower than that, but it's kind of the same ballpark. So we have a Pentium 2 with 300 megahertz right now. We could go higher with that, but that will stress the host system a lot more. So we're not going to do that right now. Oh, and now we're back out here again. Was there like a way to get to the sewers or something over there? Let me see. So yeah, and like a Voodoo 3. So the thing was that like I had like a lot of sort of DOS computer things that just my dad got from sort of hand-me-down parts from his colleagues. So I had like a 486 for a long time, like throughout sort of the Pentium 1, Pentium 2 era with sort of 3D acceleration, and when all that stuff was popping off, I was still hanging out with a 486 and could only play like 2D DOS games for like a year or two. And I was always looking at this stuff and was like, oh, this is so amazing, but I cannot play it. And you know, the first computer that was really sort of ready for this stuff was around this, you know, like again, like a low-end Pentium 3, so a little bit higher than that, and a Voodoo 3. So yeah, and the Voodoo 3 was kind of amazing. All right, yeah, let's destroy a bunch of things. You know, like if you actually want Heretic, again, if you actually want to play Heretic 2, you can sort of get this running on a on an actual, come on, stomp on the rats. You can kind of get this running on an actual, on your actual Windows 10 machine with like high fidelity resolution and frame rate. It probably runs at like 400 FPS or something. But you know, I kind of like futzing around with. And it's not real old hardware, but it's close to that, you know? It emulates real old hardware, so yeah, I like that. I do have some old hardware. I like to... Oop, no, this will explode, I think. Yep. Oops, let's collect that green mana. Small offensive mana, that's what they call me. And yeah, I don't know. So during that time, I was, for example, when a game such as Heretic II came out, again, I still had my 486 computer, but I bought gaming magazines, like PC magazines. I read like a German magazine called GameStar a lot at that point, and I would read about these games, and I used to be kind of amazed about them. I was like, oh yeah, what would it be like to play them? And I could not play those games. Can we drop down here? Ah, this is... Heretic has a bit of a... Again, it feels janky in a way that third-person action games don't anymore. But there's something charming about that jank. You know, like Heretic 2 was one of these games I would read about and was like, ooh, I had played some Heretic 1, because that was a DOS game that worked on my 486. Heretic 2, look at this, you know, texture filtering, and you can see Corvus, you can see this guy, can just slash things with a weird blade staff, or whatever that is, combo mana. Can we go in here? This is locked. Yeah, so it's kind of a weird game. This feels more like... This is definitely more in the vein of sort of an id Software, Raven Software shooter. Like, this does not feel like a Tomb Raider game, obviously. But, yeah. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know. I like Heretic 2. I've never played through the entire game because, I don't know. It's one of these games that you play like a level or two off, and then you are like, hey, this was awesome. But maybe that's enough. Maybe I should do that at some point. Okay, slash the fools. Pick up the tavern key and drop... Oh, now we're in the sewers, right. Yes. Hello, Pony. Good morning. Doing something different today. Gonna be back to the roguelike soon. But, yeah. But, you know. But I'm like... I like the old games. I like futzing around with old stuff and old hardware and emulators and whatever. And PCem is pretty cool. Like it's an underrated piece of software, I feel like. I feel like that's something like a lot of folks don't really know about PCem. And it takes some tinkering, right? And that's probably the reason for that. It's not like DOSBox that you can... Yeah, DOSBox also takes some tinkering, but this takes more tinkering. You have to actually set up the systems, right? Like this is actually... I'm running an actual Windows 98 here. It's not like other virtual machine stuff in that this actually emulates real hardware. But that also means that we have to, you know... I've spent quite a bit of time installing drivers, for example, and to get this stuff right. Although that was more of a pain in the ass with the Voodoo 2 and S3 stuff. Actually, that was kind of the cool thing about the Voodoo 3. It made just a lot of things a lot easier. I think I went back. Did I go back? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. Let's just splatter these folks. But yeah. PC emulator. And, you know, like even if you that's sort of the difference between PCem and, don't we have the key here? PCem and DOSBox is that DOSBox fakes a DOS environment and PCem emulates like a real DOS environment. Heretic II, beyond Hexen 2, beyond Hexen, beyond Heretic. Indeed. They got, I think they kind of lost track of their Heretic series after a while. They had Heretic, had Hexen, that was Heretic, and Heretic Shadow of the Serpent Riders, which was sort of the retail version, right? You had Hexen, beyond Heretic. You had an add-on for that. Don't remember what that was called. Then you had Hexen 2. And then you had Heretic II, right? And then everything burned in hell. And now they're making Call of Duty games. Which, you know, if you are at Activision, if you're an old developer owned by Activision and you're still alive, it's likely that you either make Call of Duty games or like Blizzard remasters, probably. I don't know. I mean, they still exist, right? So it's kind of like one of the things is like this is probably a game that you can't really do much with. Like if you would remaster this would like you would have to do a lot to this because it feels extremely loose and extremely janky by today's standards. This is not something you could just take and release again. But I don't know. I think that would probably remove a lot of what I like about this. It's kind of the jank that I enjoy. Sort of that Quake II engine jank. Does it have the warping geometry? Kind of a little bit. Not as much as Quake has, but as Quake II has, but yeah, I dropped again. The cool thing about this game is it is not as terminally... Hey June! Nice to see you. It is not as terminally confusing as Hexen 2 was. Hexen 2 is just... Like Hexen 2 is one of these games where you press a switch and like 7 kilometers elsewhere, like a little hatch opens, and you have no indication about that and what that did and whatever, and you're just running around confused all the time. Like Heretic 2 is a more straightforward game in a lot of ways. We can actually like, you know, You usually know where you need to be going. Jesus, okay. Alright. Small offensive mana. Indeed. Okay. How could we... Oh, yeah. We do have a Tome of Power thing. That's... Yeah. I don't know how I got turned around like by... I think if I use the Tome of Power, we can just wreak havoc. To try this... Oop. Was I here before? Maybe? There's a lot of dead people, so yeah, I was. Let's do... Yeah, right. See? Tome of Power. We can do nonsense with that. Sploosh. Can sploosh things. Gibbage. Yeah. Yeah. I like Hexen, actually. Like, Hexen 2 is even worse than Hexen 1 in a lot of ways. But even Hexen 1 is like... You know, it sort of took sort of the Doom-style switch hunting thing and was like, hey, how about you do that across all the levels and not just in one level, right? And then it's... I should have not... I think I should have taken this up. Can we get murdered by the elevator? Let's try. Yes, we can. And I'm dead. Okay, I think that's maybe enough Heretic for now. But it works. Again, it works in PCM. That's cool. It did not work before. Like, you could kind of play it, but at like 10 FPS and with like looking really horrible. Although maybe looking really horrible is relative in these instances. So yeah, but you don't need you don't need PCM to play Heretic 2. You can play Heretic like natively on Windows 10 in like widescreen and everything. So if you want to play Heretic 2, maybe do it that way. The one issue with that is like installing the game is not easy because the installer does not work anymore. But, you know, there's ways around that. So yeah, that was Heretic 2. You know what? Since we did Heretic 2, let's stay with the shooters a little bit. I'm not going to, you know, like most of the games I have here are not that. Also, Heretic 2 is not exactly a shooter. But seeing that we did Heretic 2, let's just quickly do Quake 2. Sort of the mother engine. But this also now works pretty well. Again, you definitely do not need PCM to play Quake 2. But, you know, I like doing old hardware stuff. I know there's like multiple source ports and all kinds of stuff. Don't play the RTX version. It's not right. Quake 2 RTX is just not right. It's cool, but it's not Quake 2. I don't know. I have weird hang-ups about Quake 2 RTX. I don't know why. Also, like, whatever. Like, Quake 2 is not maybe the most interesting game. But, yeah. Hey, Quake 2. That also, like... Hey. I always like... Let me just quickly... You know, I have the Voodoo 3, but like if like low resolution software mode Quake 2 is awesome. Let's do that real fast. Like, look at this. Like, this is amazing. This is like, you can't do that in a source port, right? RTX Schmartx. This is Quake 2 right here. Ah, look at the grime. Look at the grime. This is This is the way to play Quake 2, folks. This right here. We're not gonna linger on this game too much. I want to play some other things, but yeah. But again, right? Like, we can actually, like, let me just benchmark this a little bit. 3DFX OpenGL. Like, this is probably gonna be an issue. Didn't actually do it. Okay, it does not allow us to go that high. 800 by 600, or maybe this one. Does this work? No, it doesn't want. It doesn't want it. I know that it 800 by 600. That is high as you want to go. Yeah. Yeah, this works. Right? Yeah. That is fine. I don't know, like, frame rate wise, this would be probably around the 30s, but again, this is kind of, I would have seen this as playable. This would have been my thing. Quake II is kind of a weird game, you know? In a lot of ways, it's kind of the black sheep of id Software. It eschews a lot of the weirdness of id Software games. And it's, I don't know. Yeah, it's more of a bro shooter, definitely. Oh, it slows down a bit. It slows down a bit. I have a bit of. Oh yeah, like in these bigger areas, this starts chugging. You know, like GL at 800 by 600 is maybe a little, could be a little much. Power VR, default OpenGL, yeah. But again, this is what it's all about. This is actually, like, this is something you cannot do easily if you use a source port on Windows 10, right? So it's kind of worth it. PCem is kind of worth it just for this. Like, also sort of the flat light, like, it looks different, right? If you don't have sort of the colored lights and stuff, it looks different. Like, the particles look different. They look more splooshy. Like, you don't really have that confetti effect that you get. Still kind of a confetti effect. But, like, Quake at higher resolution has weird particles. Sort of, you have just, like, these little confetti pieces. It looks strange. And, like, the particles for everything is the same. Like, for blood and for fire and whatever. Right? And it looks super smooth. And, you know, like the classic polygonal explosions. Like, a bunch of source ports sort of fix that and replace that with proper particle effects, which is cool. But, you know, confetti particles and polygon explosions is, it's cool. It's great. Like, that's what I'm here for. Ooh. Yeah, look at those chunky textures. Alright. That's level 1 of Quake II. That's enough. But yeah, that's maybe just kind of a decent demonstration, I guess, or a decent benchmark for this. Like, what you can do with it and whatnot. Like, we could actually, like, I wonder, let me just quickly try something. Like that, let's just plop in a stronger Pentium. So the highest that we can get is a Pentium 2 450. This might actually destroy my host computer at this point. Like, this is really, again, this is very hardware intensive. It works out fine so far. I'm going to quickly start this again and just try how this is. Oh no, it actually, yeah, it starts chugging. Like, my computer's not good enough for that. Ooh, it starts chugging. It starts chugging a lot. Maybe not. Let's see what happens. But yeah, I might, you know, the bottleneck here might be my host computer. I could probably need a Super B. I know. Yeah, it cannot keep up. So maybe like my computer is a few years old. Like, it's like 3 or 4 years old at this point, so it cannot keep up with that. You probably need like a, I don't actually know if like a current CPU would do that much, because like single clock speed has not really gone up all that much. But yeah, other Voodoo stuff. You know, since we are with the shooters right now, let's do one other one. And this is one that I really liked back in the day, but it might not hold up. Let me just say that. Remember NERF Arena Blast? Remember NERF Arena Blast? This runs on the Unreal Tournament engine, but it's not like jibbing folks, it's more like nerfing folks. I had like a demo of this back in the day, and I played that a lot. So my dad was pretty adamant about me not playing first-person shooters and violent games. And this is essentially like an Unreal Tournament, but with Nerf guns. And it actually came out. That's a game that was actually released. Ooh, got some chuggage here. Ooh. Oh dear. Oh, this is not working, and I cannot move anymore. Why does it go down so much? You know what? I think it might not have liked me futzing around with the... Oh dear. Okay. It might not have liked me futzing around with this stuff. I think I need to restart the computer real fast. Because I've tried a bit of it recently, and that worked. It was playable, so let's try this again. Let's restart the computer. Where are we? PCem, here we go. Don't close the thing. Let's just do that. And let's restart. Yeah, Energy Star EPA Pollution Preventer. I don't actually know what that mainboard does to prevent pollution, but I'm sure it's a thing. So let's get back into Windows. Yeah, you get that little bit of chuggage on booting, but that is, you always get that with PCem. Let's try NERF Arena Blast again. I'm not sure why it didn't really work that way. I think it might have had a problem with me swapping the CPUs on a running system, you know. Want to do it? Yeah, kind of around 100%. Maybe it works. Let's try this again. So the way I remember this game is essentially Unreal Tournament, but with Nerf guns, right? Oh no. It doesn't wanna... I hope I don't need to... Oh god. So... I hope I... Oh yeah. I hope I don't need to restart my host computer. Oh no, this is really not working well. Let's turn that down a little bit. Let's do 640 by 480, that's usually... Yeah, my host computer is just not liking it right now. It worked fine a while ago. That's always the case, right? Always the... Let me just quickly... Machine... Configure... It really did not like me... Let's go down a little bit in that end. Oh no, this is bad. This is not working right. We should probably not. If I need to restart my host computer, I need to restart the stream, so I really don't want to do that. But yeah, this is Nerf Arena Blast. Nerf gun nonsense. This is not a good game, actually. Like, I remember it as being just like Unreal Tournament, but like with Nerf guns. But it really isn't. Like, this is a much jankier game than Unreal Tournament was. But you know, talked about jank earlier. I've knocked out Jane. Hello. Oh yeah, this runs slow. Okay, this is, I guess, our Nerf grenade launcher. I knocked out Sharon. Get bent, Sharon. I don't know. I think you can do stuff like, right, we do this, so we open this, and we get Electro Shield. Yes, indeed. Oh no, this is really not running well. I don't know why it's... I did not have that issue earlier, again. But maybe we just shouldn't. Maybe we just shouldn't play this game. Ah, unfortunate. I wanted to actually get into it a little bit, but you know, sometimes that's how it is. Alright. Let's try something else. Let's stay firmly in the 90s. Dethkarz. Remember Dethkarz? Dethkarz in the... Like, this needs to have been written like this, right? Like, there's no way. This also worked great earlier, so I hope we can actually make this. I hope this works. If it drops down, I probably need to restart my host system. Melbourne House. So I had this. This was like a full version in some kind of gaming magazine. You know, like that's how I got most of my games actually. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this works well so far. Okay, let's do arcade. And the main thing I remember from this game is it being hard as shit. Like I was not really able to do anything here. We have a few different difficulty. Oh yeah. Blitzwagen, yeah, Blitzwagen. That's what you call your car. Better acceleration and handling. Now let's just start with the easy one, right? Begin race. Here we go. So this is kind of like a futuristic racing game. Think like a Wipeout or Extreme G, right? Stuff like that. Okay, how did that work? And I kind of loved it, but the thing I remember the most from this game is dropping down the sides all the time. Ew. Also, like, using a keyboard to play racing games. I mean, that's how I did it, always. But, you know, maybe it's not ideal. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're all about here. Old shit. Yeah, this was around like 98, 99 probably. Yeah. But yeah, again, 3DFX game. I think like Nerf Arena Blast just had some issues. This works pretty well. This works rather nicely. Maybe Unreal Engine. The original Unreal Engine is just doing some nonsense. And we can repair ourselves. Oh, we are second. Actually second, huh? Maybe this is not as hard as I remember it. Or like... Ooh, yeah. Yeah. This is my main recollection of this game. Whoosh. Maybe we... Don't know what's over there. Maybe you can... Ah, God. Okay. So... Yeah, this is... Now we're back to how I was playing the game back in the day. Oh dear. You know, this is a thing that I don't indulge much in my sort of online, on my YouTube and Twitch channels, but I like to play racing games a lot. I like racing sims and arcade racing. I don't know, I like racing games a ton. It just doesn't really fit well with what I'm usually playing, but yeah. I don't know. This is actually cool. Like, Dethkarz is actually pretty nice. I don't know. This is kind of a cool game. This feels good. It feels good to play. I need to maybe check whether I can run this natively on Windows 10. You know? Maybe playing this at a higher resolution and with more beef hardware-wise would probably be nice. Final lap. I don't think we're gonna catch the first one. I don't think we're gonna do it. I don't think we're gonna be able to. Maybe. I think we are lapping folks, probably. Yeah, we're lapping folks. Oop. New. Crap. The problem when we're lapping is that we're getting pelted by stuff again. Okay, these are mines. Ugh. You know what? This is actually maybe not a bad one of these. I think the reason why nobody remembers this is that it was not on consoles, if I remember correctly. I think this game was only on I think this game was only on computers, and maybe that was not. Like, for this type of game, you probably want to be on PlayStation, right? Heroes of Might and Magic 3, Age of Empires 2, Deus Ex, Thief. Yeah, I think that was around the same time, right? I don't know when Dethkarz came out. Let me just quickly... Dethkarz. Maybe the name was actually the issue. Let's do Moby Games. Dethkarz. 98. Yeah, this is a 1998 game. Yeah. Maybe a little bit before that then. Oh dear. It might not have liked. No, it's fine. Did we get second? Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that. Let's do another stage. Let's stick with the game a little bit longer and not just Metro City, the pole. Yeah, let's do the pole. Again, short track. But yeah, Heroes of Might and Magic 3, Age of Empires 2, Deus Ex, Thief. Yeah. These are all amazing. These are like incredible. I still love those games. Like, I think I have all of them installed right now, actually on my main computer, on my host computer, on my Windows 10 computer. Like Heroes of Might and Magic 3 with like an HD mod, Age of Empires 2, like the definitive edition thing. Deus Ex I have and Thief I have installed, yeah. I don't know. Thief was always scary for me as a kid. And one of the issues about Thief 1, Thief 2 doesn't have that. One of the issues about Thief 1 is that it has giant spiders in it. And I don't handle that particularly well. I have like stuff with that. Like, giant spiders in first-person games freak me out. I can't deal with that. So I have always had issues with Thief, but I love it. Especially the missions where there aren't giant spiders. And Thief 2, in Thief 2 they didn't do the... Like, you don't really have that much... you don't really have, like, the zombie spiders monster missions all that much. They kind of cut that out, because that was always sort of the stuff that folks liked the least in Thief 1, right? I don't know. So Thief 2 is mostly you just breaking into some kind of compound or like mansion or whatever and stealing stuff. You know, that's kind of... I think that was probably a... you know, like Thief 2 has like all the giant robot stuff, which is a bit weird. But... yeah. Oh, yeah, just go away. This track reminds me kind of remember Star Wars episode 1 Racer? This is kind of like that game. Thief being super scary, even the guards. Yeah, right? Yeah, there was like a pod racing game for Star Wars episode 1, which, you know... that was a film, definitely. But the pod racing game is pretty cool. This kind of reminds me of that. Yeah, Thief 1, like even just like sort of the idea of being completely helpless in that game, right? Like this was really like you couldn't fight in that game. It's not like Dishonored or whatever where you can just like if you get caught you can murder everything. If it comes down to it, you don't want to, but you can. You have a lot of tools to get out of pickles in that game. Like in the original Thief, you really don't. Like if someone comes at you with a sword, you better get out of there. And that made the game really scary, like especially like as a kid, right? Can we murder that guy? I'm just gonna make it my mission now to murder that guy. Yes! Ha! DNF. Which does not stand for Duke Nukem Forever. Alright. Oh, now I want to play Thief, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna do a bit of that later this week. Probably not on camera, though. The thing is, I like stealthy games, actually. Like, if I can, I play games stealthily. Like, if that's an option in a game, even if it's not like a stealth game per se, but, So sort of the last big modern quote-unquote AAA game that I've played is Mafia 3. I don't know, I just had that game and I just played it a bunch. And I played this completely stealthy. I don't know, I just like that. Maybe that's because I've played Thief back then. Maybe the stealth in that game is not as robust. But, yeah. Mainly involves having a silenced pistol and just shooting everybody in the head. But you know, that's fine. Okay, that's Dethkarz. I still have my old CD. I have like a whole bunch of CD binders back there. Yeah, a lot of stealth in Deus Ex as well, yeah. Ah, Deus Ex is so good as well. Again, I have it installed, but I haven't played it in like a decade or whatever. So I wonder how like the hey, every conspiracy theory is true actually thing sort of plays right now. I don't know. I don't remember much about the writing in that one. It's still a cool, it's still kind of a cool premise. That has maybe sort of been sort of flogged to death a little bit, you know, by other media, but you know, it was kind of fresh when Deus Ex came out. Let's play something stupid. Let's play this. Yes, Frogger fucking 2. This is not a bad game. Frogger 2 is a good game, I maintain that. Yeah, this was sort of in the I think this was sort of the Hasbro age. Or like Hasbro made a bunch of sort of 3D remakes of old arcade games. You know, there's like Breakout. It was like a 3D Breakout and like a 3D Pong even. Like all kinds of weird stuff. And also Frogger, which is interesting because Frogger is Konami, right? I think Frogger originally Konami. And I love Frogger, actually. Sort of, oops, I actually played this a little bit. Like when it comes to sort of old golden age arcade games, I really like Frogger. I actually bought the Arcade Archives Frogger thing for the Switch, and sometimes I just play some Frogger. I don't know. This is like this and Galaga essentially are the ones for me. Right, and so this is now just sort of a reimagining of Frogger as sort of 3D-ish platformer. And it works better than it should. I don't know. You know, this is not sort of the Frogger arcade thing about you getting across the roads and stuff. This is just like levels, you know, like platformer levels. But you know, sort of it has this stuff. So it has a bunch of like little nods to actual Frogger. Let me see, this gives us an extra life. And you know, you do this kind of stuff. You do Frogger things. Let's not pick that up. And press this to know where our little kids are that we're trying to rescue. As you know, like sort of the tile-based movement and stuff, it works. It works. Like I feel like out of all these Hasbro, or has no bro, I don't know. Out of all the like this works probably the best out of these. And I don't know. And it still kind of looks decent in a way. It looks like cohesive in a way that these types of games can look. Like this could be a mobile game, right? I don't know. A mobile game right now? This would work. Maybe this is not very interesting. Maybe Dethkarz was more of a... But yeah, this also works pretty well, right? Like we're running at 100%. This is like actually kind of high-resing this. This is like 1027 by 768, which is cool. I think this was also on PlayStation and Dreamcast and stuff. It's probably easier if you want to play this game. It's probably easier to just emulate those versions. But we're all about the computers here. So rescue the babies. Oh, she has an interesting... This frog actually has a hairstyle, which is... and I got like murderized by that. What are those? Like rhino beetles? I don't know. Oh, aha. And I think that's a kangaroo mummy, which, yep. I'm into that. Oop, oop. Come on. Alright. Oh, you know, essentially just getting through these sort of obstacle courses. Oh god, I got splattered. I got jibbed. You know, Heretic and Quake II were not the last time we got some proper jibbage in this game, in this stream. Oh dear. All right, give me that extra live. Not exactly employing speedrun strats here, but yeah, that was bad. But yeah, I have a weird fondness for Frogger. Like for original arcade Frogger, as well as for these sort of reimagined versions. Jesus Christ, Jay. Get it together. Are these mummy... Oh no, I think these are boars. Huh. Okay, I think what we need to do to go here and duck into these little thingies. Oh. All right, more froggering to do now. All right, open the... I don't know why this frog is in this ancient temple, but I'm not asking any prying questions here. No, we actually can't get there. Now that we've been dead, we can go here. All right. Ooh. Oh, we're Indiana Jonesing now. Ah, now we can go here. Ah. Okay. Maybe that's enough Frogger. Yeah, Frogger 2. It's cool. It's a nice game, and you know, it works good now on this. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's really sort of them expanding it sort of on the high end with the Pentium 2 and the Voodoo 3. That really made this viable for a lot of cool stuff. I really like this. Like I use PCM a lot for sort of like old stuff. Where's my... No, this is not what I'm looking for. This maybe? Yeah. Let's play something a little more austere here. This is gonna not go well because I don't have my joystick set up, and this is gonna be weird. NASCAR Racing. I really like NASCAR Racing. This is NASCAR Racing 3. Again, as I've said, I haven't had... Now, I was mostly playing games on a 486 at that point, on like a very old computer. So I mostly played NASCAR Racing 2, and then later on NASCAR Racing 2003, which is sort of the last one that I still have installed and still play. It's fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. I really like these games. I really like NASCAR Racing. It's gonna go horribly playing this with the arrow keys, but yeah. It was actually... Like for NASCAR 2, I actually still have the it gets sort of keyed out, but I do have the big box version of that. It's one of the games that I have complete in box because I like playing those still. Single race. Here we go. Driving mode, realistic, and we're gonna turn on damage. But yeah, this is like, you know, these are nice. I like old PC big boxes are sort of the vinyl records of games. I'm not a big collector, but I have a few of these that I like a lot. 99 season, yeah, well, we can do that. 43. We're just gonna get into it, and we're probably gonna crash the car a bunch. How about that? So this game now has Indianapolis, actually. For some time, Papyrus did not have the license for Indianapolis. So in IndyCar Racing 2, there's no Indianapolis in that, and that is a travesty. But, you know, it has been modded in. I think they took the Indianapolis from this game, and they ported that back to IndyCar 2, so... That's cool. I think this does not have Daytona, though. Nope. This does not have Daytona. I think the issue here was actually that Sega had the license for Daytona. Like the official license for Daytona was with Sega for the Daytona USA arcade games. And for that reason, we don't have Daytona in this NASCAR simulation, which is maybe, I don't know. Well, so what do we have? Oh, we have Homestead. Shall we race on Homestead? Let's race on Homestead. And let's drive in a circle for a bit. I haven't played NASCAR 3. I have played a lot of NASCAR 1 and 2. Panel yellow flags. Also, again, I need to use the keyboard right now because I don't have a joystick set up. And you kind of want analog steering and braking and acceleration because yeah, we're gonna do driving mode realistic though. And again, let's have arcade damage at least. And we're not doing like a proper race now. Let's go to the track. Ooh, oh no, this is slowing down now. Does it have some issues with other cars? Interesting. Again, there's maybe not much reason to play this like this in PCM, but now let's try it. Let's see. Oh, no, it works well. We're back at 100%. There was just something about that screen. So yeah, this is kind of a big jump from, I think we're just in practice mode right now. So we're gonna see a few of these cars just slowly go on the track and do a few laps. Let me see if I remember everything. Lap info, standings. Oh, yeah, just do that. Go across the. You know, that's how you do it. Like back in the day, I used to just crash in this game, and it is kind of more recently that I sort of got into it properly. Yeah, so let's let's forget about that and just exit the pit lane properly. Lap info. Here we go. Here we go. Should probably just start the race. Ooh, oh yeah. That's not the line. That's not our line here. But yeah, this is actually a huge. Wow, Jesus! Like in terms of I'm not playing this properly, but this is actually in terms of fidelity. This is kind of a huge jump from NASCAR 2. Okay, how do I? What have I? Do I have? I don't know how to. I don't know what I have mapped. Okay, this is horrible. Next session. That was practice. Fantastic. Good. Next session. What are we at? Is this qualifying now? I don't know where. Oh yeah, qualifying. One lap. Yeah, let's do our qualifying lap. Let's fuck this up. Quick qualify. Did I already? Oh yeah, bone this. Yeah, let's do a qualifying lap real fast. If I get this around the track, probably won't. But NASCAR Racing has just, everybody has tuned out. Okay, I'm in. We're gonna play something else soon. But I wanted to get into this a little bit because I enjoyed that. I just need to indulge a little bit right now. We're gonna play other games soon. I'm gonna play games that are not racing simulations soon. You know, sometimes folks deride the driving in a circle all the time, the oval racing of NASCAR. But once you kind of get into it, there's a lot to that. All right. I'm gonna try to do one qualifying lap on my keyboard and just yeah, no, I've brilliant racing, fantastic line. Don't actually know what the difficulty is set at, so, but you know, qualifying in the field is probably nice, and we can cause a whole crash. All right, take this around. take this around and do this again. No. Good line. Took the best line through the turn. Fantastic. That's how we roll. Lap 1 of 1. Okay. 39, 180. I think that's it, right? We did quick qualifying, I think. That's how that went. Lap 1, oh no. I think now this is our qualifying lap, right? We have one, okay, let's do our qualifying lap now. I think. I don't know. I don't know what I've set this to. Oh. Oh. No. I'm spinning. Yeah. Okay, well, that's our qualifying. Oh yeah, we are last. I mean, that's okay. Next session. Warm up. Now we're gonna go straight to the race. Yeah, you definitely do not want to play this game with the arrow keys. I'm also using like automatic transmission, which is also not good. But yeah. Again, I like to play... I still play NASCAR 2003 a bunch. Like, that is a game that is Papyrus's last NASCAR game. Yes, let's fuck him up. That's what we do. No, or not. And what we're gonna do? We're gonna do the one thing that I used to always... Ah, shit. Where is... I don't know what I've bound to... Let me quickly check the options. Reverse keyboard X. Oh yeah, okay. So we're gonna do... Yes, indeed. That's what we're gonna do. Gonna go the wrong way. See if we can take out some folks. Yeah. Did not cause a huge pileup, but enough of a pileup. And that's NASCAR Racing 3. Yeah. I like, again, I play NASCAR 2003 relatively regularly. That's a game that is still sort of maintained by the community. And this is sort of the... And it's really good. Right? That's sort of the racing engine that they build iRacing around, essentially. So yeah, it's decent. It's great. Okay, let's play something else. Where are we? Where's my CD-ROM? There we go. Let's put in... What do we have? What do we have? So as you can... Yeah, let's go back to the shooters just a little bit. So this is the... So I have the Doom Collector's Edition, which is kind of a weird thing that came out. There you can see it. That's the auto run. So id Software released sort of a... That's Doom 95, right? Doom for Windows 95, which is... You know, yeah. This has this little front end here, and it's actually kind of cool in some ways. So, you know, can pick all this stuff here, like which map, which episode we're gonna play, ultraviolence, like difficulty. This has a custom WAD file picker, so I've actually I've put a bunch of Doom WADs on this. So, you know, like the issue with this one is that you can only pick one, so you can't merge multiple WAD files into... You can't merge multiple WAD files, essentially. You still need to do that via the command line, and that is... But, yeah. Configuration, like you can do stuff like demo recording. is kind of nice with this. Like it just, you know, it just externalizes all the command line stuff into this front end. I don't know. Again, there's probably no reason you want to play Doom. There's actually no reason you'd want to play Doom 95. But yeah, here we go. That's Doom 95. We're playing Doom the way it did on Doom 95. I think this came out in like 2012, I believe, this WOD. So we're doing a big old anachronism here, but it works. So that's cool. I like that, actually. I'm a big fan of anachronisms. Yeah. Right, like if you want to play sort of classic Doom in a, like if you don't want to use like yeah, there's Chocolate Doom. We don't want to go sort of high fidelity GZ Doom nonsense. You can use like Chocolate Doom or Crispy Doom, and that will get you a very authentic experience. But I do sort of like this, how this feels and stuff. Like there is a certain griminess to the original Doom, you know, like the low res 35 FPS sort of original Doom. I don't know, there's a grime to it. I don't know how to describe it. That kind of gets lost if you go like all high resolution. I'm playing keyboard only here, by the way, because that's what we do. At least for this. No mouse, look. Which I don't think is even possible. Can we use the mouse? No, we cannot actually. I think you can probably configure the mouse for this, but you then probably have the thing where the mouse actually walks you forward. But yeah. Whoops. Doom the way it did. Let's press the secret. Can go here. Boom. I like Doom the way it did. I don't know. It's like, if you're into classic Doom, that gives you more classic Doom. Even though that might be a little easy, but yeah. But yeah, I don't know, Doom 95, it's a weird sort of, again, a weird sort of anachronistic thing. Like there's no reason why you probably want to play this, but that's precisely why I like it. Yeah, just use a modern source port. If you want it old school, use a modern old school source port. There's a lot of them. But yeah, I don't know. Or even like use DOSBox. You know, that's still probably a better solution than emulating an old Windows computer and then running Doom 95 in it. But it's so stupid that I like it. So that's cool. All right. Do we have some more stuff that... Right. So remember Pandemonium? It's sort of a 3D... Ooh, no. To quit. So one of the things is like Pandemonium, the original Pandemonium, has, let me see, I've never, like this has a 3DFX support, right? But I could never get this to work, and I still cannot. I thought maybe like, yeah. It does not work with the Voodoo 3. It does not work with the Voodoo 2. Maybe I need to actually futz around with a Voodoo 1 at some point, and maybe that works better, because it was sort of at the early end of this stuff. But this should be the 3DFX one. It doesn't work. Pandy. Okay. Right, so you can, there's like standard DirectX modes, and you can play this at 800 by 600 or something, but this is super interlaced. So here's a window. Does this work? No, it's just a very small window. Yeah, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's end this again. I have a weird fondness for Pandemonium, but so if I do 800 by 600, this will just be interlaced to hell and back, right? Yeah, it kind of is. Like, this is not good. Oh. Huh? I'm chugging there? Okay, but once we're in the game, it works. Oh. Okay, no. So yeah, it doesn't really... I can't get this to work properly. So the way that this is best to be played then is to go low res, to do this. You know, you don't have the interlacing, but it at least works properly. And you know, like all in all, what you probably want to do for this game is to emulate the PlayStation version. That's probably what works best. But yeah, I would love to get the 3DFX version of Pandemonium going at some point. So Pandemonium is a Crystal Dynamics joint, makers of Tomb Raider. You know, the new Tomb Raiders and the Avengers. So yeah, they're still around. Although after the Avengers thing, I don't know. How can I shoot? Ah, like this, okay. And this is a weird sort of 2D, 2.5D, I hate that actually, platformer. So this is essentially, you're just playing on a plane. This is just completely a 2D platformer. But you're zipping around in 3D space. I don't know. It actually works pretty well. You can do fun stuff like this. There's also a game that I had from some kind of magazine cover CD a few years after it came out, you know? And I remember back in the day, the 3DFX mode did work for me, but I could never get it running on PCem. Also, there's some really inconsistent sort of frame stuff going on here. Like the game just randomly speeds up sometimes. I don't know, maybe the PC version of this game is just not good. Just go PlayStation, probably. That's probably the advice here. Nope. Nope, I lost my fire thing now. So like, maybe this has not aged super well. Like, it was pretty chunky. And kind of garish. But, you know, maybe the garishness is what we're actually looking for. There's something about super garish early 3D that I enjoy. But yeah. So Pandemonium, what does work though is Pandemonium 2, which runs on the same engine, but they fixed their stuff, I guess. So if we go there, Pandy 2, here we go. Let's slot in that CD. Nope. I've made images of all of my all of my CDs that I have, because you don't really want to juggle with real CDs for this. So yeah. So this is Pandemonium 2. And this works, right? Like we're going full 3DFX here. And yeah, this looks, I don't know, a lot better, I guess. It still looks super garish, but press A to enter level. Here we go. Ooh, here we go. And I think it does not have the inconsistent frame timing stuff. So yeah, this actually plays decently. I have a weird fondness for this. Maybe this is not a game that you'd want to play now, but I don't know. Pandemonium. I think we cannot do this because we're playing the only character that you should be playing in this game, which is her. You can also play as sort of like the jester person, but she has a double jump. Always pick the character with a double jump. Yay, water slide. Boof. Alright. Remember when 3D platformers were just like drug trips, essentially? just like psychedelic trips. Like, look at this stuff. It's ridiculous. I love it. I want to, at some point, like, didn't like the sort of, what was that called? Balan Wonderworld or something that came out? That really looks like this. That really looks like sort of a horrible nightmare of a 3D platformer. I actually want to kind of check that out. I should try that demo. Everybody says that it's horrible, but I think if I play a 3D platformer, I want it to be horrible. Like, who would want to play a good 3D platformer, you know? Like, that's not fun. I only played 3D platformers if they are terrible. Honestly, that's sort of... that's my motto. Alright. Yeah, this is just nightmarish. Like, look at this stuff. I don't know. This is probably actually a decent game. I remember this actually getting pretty decent reviews. And Crystal Dynamics used to do a lot of these type of games. Like, remember the Gex games? Like Gex Enter the Gecko or whatever? Which is probably also a nightmare trip. And that was just what they did. And like the Legacy of Kain games, right? Which is maybe a nightmare trip in a different way. Like, there's something extremely disorienting about the way this looks and plays. Can we shoot now? Yeah. Nah. But yeah, this is probably again a little... oops, lost my firepower again. We're not exactly getting the most out of our Voodoo 3 here, but yeah, it works decently. It will probably, you know, this probably worked on sort of the Voodoo 2 as well. What am I doing? Level complete. 40% treasure. And here she comes. Goon City, indeed. Are we here? Ice Prison. From Goon City to Ice Prison. That's a progression. Like, none of this makes sense, right? And that's kind of the cool thing. Like, why play a 3D platformer if it makes sense? There's just no reason to it, you know? Ooh, what am I doing? Okay, this has killed me. Alright, and that's Pandemonium. Nightmarish 3D platformer, my favorite genre. Okay, we're gonna quit this. I'm gonna take a quick break right now. And I'm gonna be back in a minute. Alright, I'm back. If I wanted this to make sense, I'd read a book. Yeah, probably. Alright. Have I... Sorry, was like the desktop audio... Was there no music in all of this? Did I have that off all the time? This might have been the case. Oh no, this is horrible. Oh, this is horrible. Oh well. Shit happens. Oh. Well, no sound. Ah! Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, we're gonna have some sound now. Sorry about that. Oh dear. Okay. Right, break, change view. Okay. Play something else. Was out making coffee, went back to platformer times. Yeah. Oh yeah, Pandemonium. Nightmarish. I don't know. I like that. Remember this game? The Sega Rally. Sega Rally Championship. This is pretty cool. This obviously has very little to do with the actual sport of rally, but this is a great arcade game. And you know, the PC version is kind of difficult to get running in a lot of ways. Yeah, now I hear stuff. Okay. Alright. It's kind of difficult to get running. 3, 2, 1. Did it work well? Why am I not? Ooh, turn off numlock. Here we go. Alright. So yeah, this is... if I remember correctly, this is based on the Saturn port of Sega Rally. So this is not based on the arcade version. But, you know, it's kind of a little bit of an enhanced version of the Saturn port. The problem with this is, I think, you know, like the Sega games from that era, they had some 3D acceleration support, but it was like just for like a single card. For like a diamond something. Oh dear, this is actually starting to chug a little, and we need to actually up our processor here a bit. So this is like CPU only now. We're running this in software mode, but it looks pretty, at least it looks like faithful to the Saturn version, kind of. And you know, this is essentially a classic. I'm not playing particularly well, but Sega Rally is good. Sega Rally is a very good game. I know, it's a good arcade racing game. And this works decently on PCM. Again, we have some slowdown. We could probably give our processor a little bit, our CPU a bit more. Oh dear, yeah. We could probably give our CPU a bit more, a few megahertz, a few extra megahertz. That will probably help a little bit. But yeah. And this is weirdly, like, even you can kind of run this on a modern PC, but even then it does not run at a great frame rate. I don't know how you can. It's almost impossible to get running super smoothly. And that's sort of the case with a bunch of these early Sega, not early, but these Sega ports. They released a bunch of these in that era, sort of the Sega Model 2 era, Saturn era. Yeah, they're not working all that well, unfortunately. I mean, it's a great game still. I remember I played a bunch of Sega Rally. I don't know. There's something about sort of the way these games look and feel and play That is great, but yeah, we're getting kind of inconsistent speeds here, which is not good. I wonder, let me try something. We're just gonna turn that. It probably runs better, you know, that's kind of not what you want, but it probably works better. Oh yeah, oh, this is fast. This might actually run too fast. Oh, then, well, maybe. Like this works. I mean, this is kind of at the resolution that the Saturn version is. Oh yeah, I did not do well. Retired. But it runs at a faster frame rate, so maybe this is actually preferable to the Saturn version. Like, I think you can actually, if you get it to run, you can get it to run at 60 FPS. I guess. I think the Saturn version is like around the 30s, so maybe. But yeah, there's some inconsistencies there. So maybe not. Maybe that's not what you want. What's breaking? This breaking? Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I'm not playing that well. This is... Definitely need to catch those cars in the first stage. But yeah, this does not really have anything to do with actual rallying, right? But like in rally, you don't overtake. There's no overtakes generally. But still, nope. I mean, P11 at this. Could be worse, could be better. Essentially what you're trying to do is to work your way towards P1 over the course of the stages, of the 3 stages that we get. And if you manage to get P1, and not run out of time, then you unlock the 4th stage. And you finish that, you've finished the arcade game. You know, it's an arcade game. It's kind of about like repetition and mastery. And there's something very enjoyable about that. Okay. Well, this works. Yeah, this does not look good at this resolution. I kind of like how sort of the polygon seems to come apart at their seams. I feel like that's also in the Saturn version. Like the Saturn version also has these sort of glitchy artifacts, and I kind of enjoy that in a weird way. Oh god, I'm not playing well. Should definitely not hit the walls here. Yep. But I haven't played Sega Rally in a long time. Alright. Get through here, boom. Finish. Oh well, made it to the 3rd stage. Alright, thanks Pony for hanging out. See you next time. Cheers. Alright, now we're in the city. Okay. Also, like, maybe playing this with a keyboard, as we need to do right now. Because again, don't have my joystick set up with PCem, is maybe not the ideal way. Yeah, right. Oh god, I haven't played this in a long time. Kind of what you really need to do in this game is you have to practice the stages and kind of try to do flawless runs out of the... flawless runs on them. Do the overtakes right, you know, that kind of stuff. Probably gonna run out of time. Oh, yeah, we made the checkpoint, okay. And the cool thing about Sega Rally is that you kind of always have sort of a goal to work towards. You know, you start out playing against time, and then you're playing for position. You know, we're not gonna do it. I just hit the wall way too much. But yeah, you know, time is up shortly before the end. But that's how it goes. Desert Forest Mountain. Yeah. Sega Rally. Sega Rally is a good game. Can only recommend. Let's get out of this. All right. What else do we have? Let's play a stupid action game again. This is also something that kind of takes advantage. This was actually kind of playable before that on a Pentium 1 and a Voodoo 2. But yeah. Let's see how high we can get here. Let's jack the resolution up. It probably won't work, but let's try it. This is Recoil. This is kind of a dumb game that I enjoyed a lot. This is, again, oops, like one of these action games where it's kind of fun to just play a level, but it gets very samey, and it's not a game that you're probably gonna play all the way through. But this was a good game to have the demo of. Like, I had the demo of this back then, and I like to play the demo. And you kind of don't want, like, beyond the first level, it's eh. You can take it or leave it, essentially. But yeah. This works decently, maybe? Yeah? Yeah, this is okay. It's chugging a little bit. Maybe we need to go down with the revolution just a bit. But yeah, let's see. Can I do it from in-game? Yeah, this is Recoil. This is a game made by Zipper Interactive. I think they would later make games for Sony, right? Like the SOCOM games, sort of like shooter stuff. But this is kind of an early game for them. I kind of got like middling reviews. Let's do 640 by 480, why not? Let's start. Let's try this again. This should, you know, sometimes you have to go down on the resolution a little bit. Make everything look a bit blurry, but such it goes. This is mostly because we're doing uneven pixel scaling. Like, you could probably scale this properly and have a true, like, ×2 scale or something like that, and it would work better, but we're not going to do that right now. But yeah, a bit more aliasing. Now this is still not working right. This actually works worse right now. So maybe, yeah, sometimes PCem does weird stuff with... Let me futz around a bit. Sometimes it does not like being underutilized, essentially. But it actually works better with full res. Now let's try this again. Why not? And sometimes, like, you get weird results. Perspective, effects, medium, low, high, full HUD, texture memory, max. I think we can jack that higher than that. Oh well. You know, it's going to be a little bit uneven, but let's play some Recoil. Just for shits and giggles. Just a little bit. Like, this game always looked really appealing to me back then. Like, there's something about this that it does not look great, and it didn't exactly look great at the time. But, you know, there's just something appealing about this big fuck-off tank that you're playing. Let me just turn down the audio a whole bunch, because it's like cutting out and stuff, and it's not great. But yeah, this Recoil, just driving around in this giant stupid tank and you're blowing everything up. And again, like, there's not much in this beyond sort of that you want to play maybe first level or two or something. Also, maybe this could, it could be the case that I'm the problem is why this is chugging now and it worked earlier is that I'm streaming at the same time. Maybe I should have been thinking about that. But yeah, it kind of works. It kind of works. All right, this is Recoil. Kind of sort of an also ran, you know, got kind of reviews in sort of the 60s and 70s, and it works fine. Like, it runs well if it runs well. And you can shoot things and it's dumb. This is one of these games where sort of the tenor back then about sort of was, hey, it looks, it has good blowing up stuff, and your tank looks nice, but the environment is really kind of bad. Like, even when it came out, this did not look good. And, you know, kind of makes sense if you look at it. Kablam. Let's blow this up. Come on. Kabloosh. Now we can do stupid stuff. Oops. Like, jump with the tank. There we go. Boom. Land right inside that enemy. Oops. And get the nanite 100 to heal up completely. And now we're back here. Yeah, this is where we started out. How nice. I always like when games do this. They give you sort of an overview of where we've already been. Always a nice sort of gives you, I don't know, an appreciation for the space, even if it looks as bad as this. Okay, Bill, come on. But yeah, sometimes, like right now, if I play sort of old stuff and if I futz around with old stuff, I'm sometimes more interested sort of in the bad old games than the good old games. I don't know. Like the janky stuff and the weird stuff. It makes... This is not particularly weird. This is actually maybe kind of boring, but yeah. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Ah, it's fine. I think that's enough. That's enough recoil. Right. And we have some more stuff. I have some civilization and whatever, but I think I might call it right now. It was a bit of fun. I don't know. Sometimes I like to do these little variety streams. And I just felt like doing that because I was futzing around with this a whole bunch. So, next time we're gonna go back to roguelikes. I'm gonna play either Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup or Caves of Cud, because that's what I generally do on this channel. So we're gonna do that. It was just like a little on a whim thing, and I like to go into the old stuff sometimes. But yeah, see you around. See you next time. Have a nice day. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting. All this kind of stuff. Bye bye.